Let's go Newbauer team.
Yeah, let's go. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Excellent. Let me round up a couple people. I know everybody's coming right in. I usually give it a couple minutes. Everybody's on my schedule, my kind of schedule. Especially our beloved Dustin, I know, is joining us.
Hey, Steve.
Steve muted. Let me see. Oh, I got it. Just admitting people. Wow, love it. What a turnout already, guys. This is great. Hey, will Jeffrey be joining us, Joe? Joe Martinez.
I don't know if he's finished with an appointment that he had.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, if he's got some agents or whatever, by all means. And I want to, gosh, I'm not going to do it this time, but Dominic, you got to remind me if I can real quick. I'm not going to, no, because Dominic and I haven't even discussed this, but I accidentally came across something that Dominic wrote over a year ago when he left his position to come full time here. And oh my God, I feel like I should send him some money or something for the wisdom and insight he put in there. Dominic, if you don't mind, I might, after the meeting, I didn't have time to prepare because I just came across it, but I might just share a paragraph from it and group me if you don't mind.
Sure.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I mean, Dominic will be writing books someday soon, I'm sure. So, wow, just really touched me. So I'm reporting live from Tatooine, if you can see. Everybody, welcome to the, anybody see Mandalorian yet? I mean, not even just a huge Star Wars fan, but that show is really good, by the way. All right, so
good.
Let me get my agenda here, just because this is, guys, this is the first time we've all met in a long time. So I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Savannah, I love your hair. I love that green or teal or whatever that is. Wow.
Mark, will we be recording this meeting?
I believe it's yes. I have it set for auto record, Dustin. So no matter, even if I forget, there it is. Gosh, love seeing everybody. So, guys, I just want to apologize first and foremost to the OGs here, the Betsies, the Steves, Dominic, Joe. It's been some time since we've hosted a team meeting, and you know, we just qualified for agency owner last month. And I just want to say, I wish he was here, but I just got to say out loud, guys, the whole team makes this possible. And I'm very thankful for everybody's participation. But Joe Martinez and Jeff and Betsy, I just can't thank you guys enough, because you, for lack of a better term, kind of carried this team in a big way with your work ethic, your dedication, your devotion. And I'm so grateful for you. And I've realized in kind of meditating and being grateful for the promotion that I don't think I gave you guys enough recognition for that. So I didn't know I'd get emotional about it, but apologies and thank you guys so much. I'm very, very grateful for everything that we're building here together. So maybe it's just not enough sleep. Anyhow, so guys, back to the agenda. Thank you all so much. So we're agency owner.
Mark,
thank you.
Mark, I'm sorry to interject, but it's such a joy to be on this team, and thank you for all you do to support us. Like, you put in so much, invest so much in, I know, to me and all of us here. So it's honestly, I love being a part of this team. So thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that. I know with running a couple other businesses, and Joe knows how it is too. It can sometimes be challenging to be as present as I could be. And that's my commitment. And so here we are with our first meeting of 2021. We'll be doing this at least monthly. And I'm just going to go over some quick things here, guys, to get everybody integrated. And again, I know we have some new people on here. If you've got agents that are not on the Zoom, by all means, I've just been filibustering for a few minutes here, so bring them on and get them in here, because this is where the magic happens. As anyone on this team who's been here for more than a couple months knows, the secret sauce here is just plugging in. It really is. It's about plugging in, being engaged and teachable, I'd say, are the two most important parts of being here. And there's Jeffrey Miller joining. So Jeffrey Miller, you just joined, and Joe Martinez, do you have a doppelganger? You just entered the waiting room.
Yeah, I want to text a few other agents.
I'll admit you both. Both Joes are here. Just kidding. So guys, Jeffrey Miller, you missed it. So I'll keep it brief, but I just wanted you to know, I'm so thankful for everything you bring to the team, and you have been a major part, a cornerstone of our growth, and one of the primary reasons we made it to agency owner, with your hard work ethic on the producing and the building side. And I'm grateful to you. And as I mentioned to some others, I feel I may not have given you enough recognition there, and I plan to do so moving forward. So very thankful for you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. And wow, you guys are rocking it. Just rocking it. Guys, so getting to know each other here, please feel free to scroll through, get to know some faces and names. These are names and faces that hopefully you'll be seeing winning awards, being asked to present the book of the month on a Monday call, being on stage when we get to go live on a national conference and things like that. We're all here to support each other. And by that, I don't mean we're here to babysit each other. I don't mean necessarily that we're here to be a crutch for one another. I think early on in my leadership development, I maybe tended to cater to people's excuses a little more than I should have. And I think we've grown since then. We're beyond that. And I just want you guys to know that we are here for you. Anything and everything you need, your uplines, if you know you're with Jeff or Joe or Betsy or Steve or Dustin, Dominic, everybody. I'm not going to start mentioning names because I'll leave one out. But you guys know that at any time, if you're ever stuck, you just got to reach out. And I know that some of us know it better than others. Sometimes when you don't feel like reaching out, or it's uncomfortable to reach out, or it's awkward to reach out, that's when you need to reach out. Okay. I mean, this is a no BS business. It takes a lot of work. Okay. I've said it on corporate overviews before. We talk about video game numbers.
There's so much more inspiration, and there's not technique.
Oh, Julian, so great to see you. Would you mind muting your phone? Unless you ask me a question.
I was talking to someone else.
All right. Thanks, Jules. Where was I? Oh, I mentioned on corporate overviews, we talk video game numbers, we talk promotions, bonuses, trips, all that stuff. It's very real and very achievable. But it all starts with plugging in and building momentum. And building momentum here is key, guys. I don't think there's one person on this team who's very successful, who didn't at one time go through that period where they weren't consistent and suffered as a result. And we can tell you from firsthand experience, it's a lot harder to dig out of that once you're in and go back than it is to simply build momentum from the beginning. So I don't care if you're an OG or brand new, guys, apply consistency to your work here, intentional consistency. And if that means you need to go part-time to be consistent, as opposed to saying I'm full-time, but then not being able to make your numbers one week and well, I almost made this the next week. Don't do that to yourself. Make yourself a schedule that you can honor week after week after week, because consistency is key. So guys, I'm going to dare to share my screen for a second, because for all you newbies, I just wanted to get something in front of us here. And leaders, if you can please promote this with your team. Newbies, when we started, we didn't have 80% of what's available right now. we didn't have available. I couldn't believe I had to take, I've been, the polite term is self-insured for years now. And when we came out with health plans for agents in August of last year, it was truly half the cost of the marketplace, less than. I think for a family of 4, I'm paying about $500 a month for full coverage on everything. And my son had an emergency last week. Thank God he's okay, but had to rush him in. And being able to just present that insurance card and be an entrepreneur at the same time, not have work insurance was such a great feeling. So take advantage of the resources and support here. I did want to say that. But that's just one of the very new things that they've come up with for new agents. And I'm going to run through this really quickly. Let's see, what do I want to share? I'll share my messy desktop real quick. So there it is. Guys, I wanted to show you all the new levels of leadership. So when you go to the website, guys, if you haven't done your contracting and you're brand new, please do it. If you've been here a couple of weeks, you got your logins and everything, I can't tell you how important it is at least once a week to go through the website and really just kind of scour it and see what you can find, because you're going to find a whole bunch of great stuff. But I did want to show you that under the training tab here, you guys can't see my screen, right? Okay. Under the training tab here, you're going to see promotional guidelines, levels of leadership. They just posted the new ones. So when you look at levels of leadership, right here, you're going to see what it qualifies to reach all of these different tiers. Okay. So guys, we can't, you can't get in an Uber and hope he gets you to the destination, right? Or she. You have to know where you're going. You have to tell your brain where you're going, and you will go toward that. So please be intentional about looking at these levels of leadership and setting some goals for yourself, because it all starts with the direction and a destination that you're headed toward. If you're not doing that, you're just working and hoping that, each week you get better and better. And that's okay too. But it's much easier if you set yourself a goal. So check these out. You're working your way up through the ranks, and it'll tell you exactly how to do that. And you can see it's much easier if you want to reach some of these promotional levels to do it with a team. That said, you're going to hear me talk about team building all the time, because I think impacting people with the opportunity here is just an amazing benefit that we have. But if you're just a producer, the good news is they also have the promotion guidelines, and it doesn't matter if you're on the producer track, meaning, hey, I don't want to build a team, I just want to produce, great. And then they have the owner track for those of us wanting to build teams and grow agents. But either way, you've got similar, just par to par opportunity to get your raises. So make sure you check out what it takes to get your raises. This newbies, this number right here is your monthly APV. So that's your annual premium volume. Now, the great thing about having a team is all of your team numbers count as your number. So over here, if you're trying to reach 15 on your own pen, you can do it, definitely. We have people doing this in a week sometimes. But if you're building a team, you only need, say you do 5,000, you've got a teammate here doing 5,000, you got a teammate here doing 5,000, you did 15,000, you get the raise, right? So anyway, check out the website, make sure you know what you're going for. And if you don't, set yourself a goal, set yourself a small one. Start here if you're new. If you're not new, really challenge yourself and ask your upline what it takes to get to the next level. The other thing I wanted to share really quickly, don't mind my downloads folder, it's pretty robust. I think, yeah, fast track bonus, there we go. Last thing I'll share the screen for, I think. New people, the minute you buy your first set of leads, invest in your first set of leads, cash flow your business with your first set of leads. The clock starts and you have, I think it's a total of about 120 days. Most of these are within 90, but you've got these two down here for 120 days. DJ Robinson, who is with us in the Cook group here, not on the Newbauer team, but direct to Chris Cook, he achieved this, and because it's so new, he gets the bragging rights of being the first agent ever at Symmetry to achieve this, which is great. Again, it just came out, so he achieved it, yes, because it takes a lot of hard work, but he achieved it first because he was an early adopter. I would love for any of you new people. Oh gosh, oh good, only one was waiting. Sorry about that, Rob. I let you in though. I hope no one else is waiting. Let me check. Stop share. Okay, good. No one else is waiting. Let's go back to share. Okay, guys. So this fast track bonus, I just want you to check it out. This is on the website under the support tab, and you will find it. Let's go right there now. So under support tab, contracting, right here, fast track bonus one sheet. I'd like anybody who's brand new, if you just got your first set of leads last week, or if you haven't gotten your first set of leads, please print this out, look at it, set yourself some goals. You can earn 12,500 extra dollars. That's not counting anything that you earned in your first 120 days. And if you complete all of the bonuses, you will go on a trip to Puerto Rico, 5-star resort, fully paid, anything and everything. So definitely worth it if you put in the effort. So I'm going to stop screen sharing there. How are we doing on time? Good. Wow, really? Fast. So one thing I really wanted to talk to everybody about, and all of us could use the reminder, and you're going to hear it from me maybe more than you care to hear, but what do they say in Monsters Inc? We scare because we care, right? Guys, the key to winning here, the key to truly succeeding here, is at the end of the day, it is activity. But I can promise you, we're all special, but don't think you're so special that you don't need the foundations of success that lead to activity, which is personal growth. It's why, yeah, we talk about money here because everybody's got to pay the bills. And at the end of the day, it will correlate to how much you've impacted people in your life. So it is a great measurement of success in those terms, right? But we put a real focus on personal development here because you cannot earn more than you've learned. I love rhyming when I can, but you just can't, guys. So we put a real focus on personal development here. And I've noticed, and this is probably, I'm going to put a lot of the blame on myself right now for anyone who's new, because again, my 2021 commitment and forward to you guys is we're going to be doing more associating like this. You know, we'll be doing a team call like this once a month. And Betsy, you just did a fantastic job hosting a huddle up this morning, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But guys and gals, the key to success here is plugging in and really paying attention to personal development. So I'm going to ask all of you, please, to commit today to being proactive with your personal development and proactive with plugging in here at Symmetry, because our team is only as strong as our weakest link. And it's okay if you're struggling, right? We've all been the ugly duckling once in a while, and we know how the ugly duckling turned out. I mean, a beautiful swan, right? So you guys can all be beautiful swans too. But it all starts with plugging in and learning and being willing to be vulnerable, because the key to strength is vulnerability, right? You've got to be able to be vulnerable before you can be strong. And I think a lot of people maybe don't tune in because they're not willing to be vulnerable. They already know this. They don't need that. I want to focus on making money. I don't have time for that. Wrong. It's the other way around. Okay. The money doesn't come until you plug in and associate. So this is not a lecture. I'm simply saying, if any one of you came to me and said, Mark, I love this opportunity, but I just don't want to plug in. I I don't have time to read, or GroupMe is just kind of this, that, and the other, I would advise you out of love for my fellow humans that you should probably find another path, because you're going to find yourself falling off the wagon over and over again and slowly going broke here, because it is, and you will believe it once you start tuning in. All I ask is for the blind faith, if you're not tuning in right now, the blind faith to move forward and plug in, because you will witness soon after the effects, and you'll be a big believer in the key to association. So I want our team's fire burning bright, and I ask each and every one of you to commit to being a little more proactive, to participating in GroupMe. You know, all of us are out there just working our butts off. When Steve and I started, guys, there is a silver lining to the pandemic in our industry, or at least with Symmetry, and that is we get to meet with people from Zoom, right? We get to host our appointments from Zoom. We get to have meetups like this all the time. I mean, it really opened up a lot of doors for us. When Steve Devine and I started 4 years ago, right now we'd be driving through the snow. We'd have another agent in Fort Wayne calling us because he's 2 hours away and remember when Paulie got stuck on that hill? he couldn't get out. He's freezing to death outside and in his car, and it broke down. And guys, those were tough times. But we survived them. And the point is, it's because we were together. We were there for each other. But back then it was, hey, how'd you do tonight? You know, maybe I had a sucky day in the field and didn't write any apps, but Steve texts me and says, hey, I wrote an app for 1,200 today, helped a nice Amish family up north. Wow. That made me feel better, because my buddy since high school did something that I didn't do today. And I know it's possible because Steve did it, you know, and vice versa. So this, you know, GroupMe, it's kind of like the mask thing, right? They say, well, why wear a mask? Well, I'm wearing my mask for you, not to protect me, right? I'm wearing my mask so you don't get sick. It's kind of the same thing with GroupMe. You're not on GroupMe necessarily for you, though it will benefit you. You're there for the others. And this is all about impacting others. So again, don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I would welcome each of you, if not challenge you, to just be more proactive on GroupMe starting today. Find somebody on there who's posted they wrote an app, and congratulate them. Find someone who posted their state exam and congratulate them. Maybe you wrote your first app. Maybe you just got your first set of leads. Please post that so others can cheer you on, because I cannot tell you how much it will help. What GroupMe is not for, it's not for complaining. It's not Facebook. It's definitely not for political posts. And it's not for questions that you should direct to your upline. Like, hey, I've got a 67-year-old insulin diabetic. Don't ask that on GroupMe, okay? GroupMe is for celebrating our team. It's for encouraging each other, and it's for keeping that fire lit for each and every one of us, because you may not need it that day, but somebody does. And I know for fact there have been agents' careers that have been saved by a couple of comments on GroupMe. It makes all the difference. So be a part of that, please. Reading the book of the month. I hope you guys are reading it. I have the cover of the book posted in our GroupMe every month. At least within a couple of days. It's Jack Canfield's Success Principles. This is all part of self-development. It's all part of growth. I again, if you said that you weren't going to read at least 10 pages a day, I'd say you're probably not a good fit for our team, because I'm not, again, I welcome anybody and I'll help anybody that I can. You got to ask up, of course, and I'm there for you. But I would also, as a friend, tell you, you got to do this stuff to make the other stuff work. And quite frankly, on my interviews, I let people know about personal development, that we read books of the month, that we have a chat app called GroupMe, and that we do associate at national conferences and such. And if you're not willing to do this stuff, please let me know, because it's probably not a good fit. Okay. I encourage you leaders to do that in your recruiting as well, because we know the metrics. This only works if you work it. And part of working it is plugging in. Okay, guys, simple recipe, but easy to forget. Everybody knows my Karate Kid analogies if you've been here more than a week, and it's I liken it to that movie, because in that movie, we all know, and if you don't, just call me, I'll gladly recap it. But in that movie, Young Daniel's son said, teach me karate. Mr. Miyagi said, great, come on over. I'll teach you karate. He has him painting his house, waxing his floor, washing his car, and waxing the car and painting the fence. Thank you. I know the movie well. And then Daniel says, you're not teaching me karate. I came here to learn karate. And he says, wax on, and he kicks him, you know, paint the fence, and he punches him. Daniel blocks, he hits, he knows karate all of a sudden. So it's these non-correlative actions that will lead to you learning what you need to be learning here. And the biggest part of that, guys, are the conference calls and meetings like this. If you're here, pat yourself on the back, you're well on your way, okay? Sometimes these meetings are a little challenging for leaders because the people we want to really know this are the ones that aren't showing up, right? But they'll find their way or they won't. I'm really glad you guys are here. And to that note, I want you guys to know Symmetry nationwide, they announced it on the call last week, but a lot of leaders have taken it upon themselves to host daily huddle ups, okay? These are by no means mandatory, okay? But I can say in lieu of an office environment, in lieu of a team of people that you meet with all the time, some of us are just working from our home office. I'm here stuck on Tatooine, nobody's here. It's like you need that association. So those huddle ups are a great way to do that, and they last maybe 20 minutes a morning. So 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. As they get more popular for us West Coasters, they will come up with a separate call for West Coasters. But right now it is 10:30 Eastern, and you don't have to plug in every day. If you want to, I welcome it. I encourage it. It's a great way to start your day. But these huddle ups are great little tidbits. Today, Betsy Barr, our very own, presented Debt-Free Life, and it was amazing, incredible. And I think you helped another agent with it right after as a result. So congratulations. There are just some really meaningful concepts, tips, and encouragement that you'll get by tuning into these. So I challenge everybody or welcome everybody to tune into all of them if you like, but just try one a week. Try one a week and see what you get out of it for a month, okay? That said, we at Symmetry have a lot of resources, a lot of opportunities, right? So it's easy to think, oh my God, there's so many conference calls, or you guys are Zooming me to death. Like, how am I supposed to meet with clients if I'm on all these conference calls, right? I get that. So all I ask anybody on this team is just pick 3, okay? Just pick 3. And Chris Cook taught me this, and I like it. It simplifies it a little bit. He even said, if I had to attend every call Symmetry hosted, I'd fall off planet Earth. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do. So they're here for you to kind of just find your way. But I would mandate, if I could, we're all independent contractors, but as a team leader, I please welcome and challenge you to just pick 3 of those calls. And the 3 that I would recommend, if you're new, are the Monday morning call, the Cook Agency call at 10:30. That's a must. You'll get lost if you're not on it. The noon or the Tuesday new agent training call at 11 a.m. Eastern. And Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern is our national conference call. You got to be on that one. Okay. So those are the 3 I would mandate for people just starting out. Now, if you've been here 3 or 4 months, I would encourage you to maybe switch out that new agent training call at 11 a.m. Eastern to the Monday sales training call at noon. Those are golden. Those are 6-7 figure earners telling you exactly how to do it on your Zoom and in the home. Okay. So that's my advice. There's a ton of extra calls that you can participate in, some great training from carriers. And again, these huddle ups every morning at 10:30 if you just want to stay connected and have a base. So show of hands, who is committed to being more proactive on GroupMe, reading the book of the month, and plugging into calls? Who's willing to raise their hand and truly commit to that? Joe, Jeffrey Miller's not committing. Oh my God, just kidding. Joe, Jeff, Betsy, Steve, Dominic, Savannah, Eric, Julian, Brittany, Michael, Tanasha, Eric, I don't see your screen, but I know you're in it to win it. And same with you, Dustin. Guys, I want to edify Dustin Hensley for a second. This guy is amazing, and he has revolutionized our team in one special way that I'm so grateful for. And that is, and if you don't mind posting it in Group Me after this, Dustin, he built a YouTube channel for our agency. And okay, that's not rocket science, but what he did do is he filled it with valuable content from Symmetry and Symmetry leaders. So phone trainings, Zoom trainings, corporate overviews, all kinds of great stuff is posted right there on that YouTube channel, with much thanks to Dustin. So it's very easy for you to just go there and go through things, learn things that, you know, sitting in bed at night and want to learn something. You can go to our YouTube channel if you're not going to SFG and just checking out SoundClouds and old conference calls, things like that. I just never want anybody here to ever feel lost, stuck, or awkward. You just reach up. What's next? Okay. And if you find that you're stuck, you need to call your upline and just say, I'm stuck, or what's next, or hey, I did this and I'm not feeling that. Okay. But I promise you, if you ever find yourself struggling here, the very first question you should ask yourself is, am I plugging in truly? And that includes reading the book of the month, attending the conference calls, and being proactive on Group Me. That's number one. And two, am I following the system? And I will, you know, all of us will be training you guys on the system. I'm sure you've gotten quite a bit of it, but it really just comes down to getting the right amount of leads, making as many dials as you have to get your appointments, because it will get easier. I hope Joe doesn't mind me calling him out, but Joe has been #1 in the country, probably 3 or 4 times now in the country, outperforming agents even outside of Symmetry. But when Joe started out, he was doing 1,000+ dials, 1,000+, not because he wanted to. Believe me, we had some phone calls, but because I'll never forget, after Joe and I went to lunch with he and his beautiful wife, Sandra, we had lunch here in Scottsdale after he passed his exam. And he said, Mark, I have to make this work. This has to work. And I said, it does, as long as you put in the work. And I'm always a little nervous when I say that to agents, because I'm like, are they going to put it in? And wow, did Joe put it in, because we recommend at least 300-400 dials here to get your appointments. It took Joe over 1,000, a good couple weeks in a row, right, Joe? And I say that to praise Joe. He stuck with it. He got past it. He's doing nowhere near that amount of dials now, because with practice comes proficiency. And so anyone that's giving up because you're like, oh, I made my 200 dials and I don't have enough appointments. Well, great, dial more. You got to dial more. If this job were easy, we wouldn't get paid what we get paid. Okay, just remember that. So this job is not for the faint of heart, but it is for those that want more out of life. So if you ever find yourself struggling, you got to ask yourself, am I plugging in, and I'm putting in the right activity consistently? Guys, okay, great. We're right at about a half hour. The one thing I want to talk about now is national conference. National conference, for those of you, many people right now have never been to a national conference, because I think our last one was in like November of 2019. And that wasn't even a national conference. That was a leadership summit that some of us attended. So it's been close to 2 years since an in-person national conference. Thank you, COVID. I don't mean to be insensitive. I know it's a pandemic, but there is nothing that will benefit you more in this position than national conference. And some of you might say, why is he being so adamant? Well, because I'll tell you right now, some of you have the luxury of saying, oh, I'll register for conference. Hold on, I have to admit somebody. I'll register for conference. It's free, it's virtual, so I could just sit at home and watch it, and great, what's the big deal? Okay. But national conference, just so you know, in years past has had a cost to it. Okay, we were paying, I believe, $100, $150 a ticket. We were paying for flights and hotels to North Carolina. And even for that investment, coming back, you basically got the training and insight from 6 and 7 figure earners and leaders and people like John Maxwell being our keynote speaker. You got all that for less than anything you get out of one of these conferences. If you had to just go pay to go see Gary Vee or Tony Robbins or somebody like that, you get this plus classroom training. Okay. And I'll tell you, for someone that hasn't been to conference, they say, well, I can't afford it. I'm not going to go because I don't need it, or I can get the training off the website. We hear all kinds of excuses, because the scary part was, wow, I'm going out of pocket to go to something I've never been before, and it's not going to be worth it, I think is the underlying fear. Okay. So this year it's a little easier, but you got to be careful with easy, because easy can sometimes make life harder if you're not intentional about it. So first and foremost, guys, blind faith, because it costs you nothing. Blind faith, I'm going to ask each and every one of you, please, as soon as we're off, I'll post it in GroupMe. I want you to go to the link. I want you to register for conference. Please, this is for you. I'm talking to my past self, okay? I want you to register for conference. I have the code in there that'll let you register. And then I want you to go to your calendar and I want you to put conference in there. Non-negotiable time blocks in your calendar. If you don't have a calendar, you better get one fast, because you're going to lose yourself really quick in this business if you don't schedule everything. Okay. iCal, Google Calendar, Hard Calendar, some app you found. Look at Steve's got a beautiful calendar. Whatever you guys want to use as your calendar, you got to use it. Okay. If it's a sundial with an alarm, you can do that too, but you got to have a calendar. I would like each and every one of you, please. And if there's any reason that you're not going to register for conference within minutes after this call, please give me a call or text and let me know why, so we can discuss it. And I'm not going to berate you. We'll just discuss it so we can maybe figure out what's at the root of all that. Because it is necessary. And I was going to spend a little bit of time talking to some people that have been to conference. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm sorry, because it really is a big deal. And it's been so long. So Joe, if you would unmute yourself, I'd like to ask you, what were your thoughts before your very first conference, and what were your thoughts or feelings after your very first conference?
Hey, what conferences really helps, I think, individually is edification. Because we come on board as Symmetry, and it's all by phone. We meet somebody. I talk to a random guy named Mark, and he tells me I can make 100+K from home making phone dials, and I'm like, okay, well, it takes me 80 hours a week over here to do that, so I don't know what you're talking about. It's just mental edification of meeting who Symmetry really is, right? Because if you're new right now, you haven't met Symmetry, right? Like, you have to plug into the national conference to really get to know Symmetry and who we are and how big it really is, right? Because at this point, we're really getting to the sizes and sales of an Amazon, a Google, and if you walk into those corporations, right, it's building upon building upon building. And if you went to Asheville to go meet Symmetry, that's what you would get. But since we don't do it because we are remote and we're work from home, you don't get that mental edification that this is a real job, this is a real career, this is a real company. So there's nothing like being involved and watching a conference. Hopefully soon is actually going to a conference, but even this one via Zoom, you'll really get to, you get to meet the owners, you see the people. You start seeing people in our team, right, talking in them, and you're like, okay, this is real. These people are really finding success in the company. So I like to call it mental edification, right, for yourself. It lets you know you're part of something a lot bigger, a company that's really huge and really successful, and it's absolutely possible for you as long as you put in the work. So that's what conference does for me.
Thank you. Well said. Who else wants to say something about their experience at conference and why it would be important for someone who has no clue what conference is? It's funny. I went to it was a leadership thing about 1.5 years, 2 years ago when we could go outside. And I remember them saying, like, you can see how coming to something like this is very hard to explain to people, right? And I could talk about conference all day long. I could preach the benefits of it. I could do this, but you're never, ever, ever going to understand what it's like. And the example he used was, ask a guy or someone who's never had children what it's like to give birth. What is the experience of giving birth, right? Well, I'm going to say, well, it's hard and you got to push and you're probably going to swear and wow, it probably hurts, right? But I can't really, there's no way I could possibly do justice to the experience of giving birth to a child, right? En natural. So I hope you'll kind of take that as an analogy to how difficult it is for us to explain to new people why conference is so important. But I can tell you, conference this year is going to be phenomenal, albeit virtual. And they will have breakout classrooms that they're announcing soon, which will allow you to get some real deal hands-on training for classroom and whatnot. And the reason I'm making this so important on this call is I want you to start mentally preparing for it, because again, then I'll tell you something, but if you're just sitting at home watching the conference, it's going to be really easy to get distracted. I mean, probably too easy. So I would highly, highly recommend, if at all possible, you find a wingman or wingwoman, somebody to kind of go through this with you. If you've got agents in your area, seek them out and maybe look for watch parties, things like that. If any of you are on Facebook and not a part of it, let your upline know. There is a really, really great group called Symmetry Financial Group for agents. You've got Keith Fonseca on there, Mike Pappas. You've got some real deal people on there with some great insights, posting trainings and stuff that you're not going to get on conference calls and websites. When it started out, I was like, whoa, this could get out of control, but much on par with Symmetry as a whole, the culture has maintained, and it's a great, great resource. So if you've got a Facebook account, reach up to your upline and ask him to get you on that page, because it's pretty great. And maybe there'll be some watch parties being hosted there. What I will say now is, and this is just such great news, guys. I'm so excited to announce this, and Joe knows about it. But Chris and Lauren Cook are, we don't have details yet, but we will. So just act as if. But they're going to be renting an enormous luxury Airbnb in Las Vegas for National Conference. And they will be selling rooms. You're welcome to get together with a group and have roommates and everything else. This is something that we're all going to have to discuss as leaders and teams. If you want an individual room, you'll be able to reserve that as well. And just the same, if you, for any reason, do not want to be part of the Airbnb or part of the house, they will have a room block at a nearby hotel or casino. Just don't get lost at the casino. And then you'll be able to come over during the conference hours and be part of the watch party with us. So we are going to be having a live watch party in Vegas, big screen, super luxurious house. I mean, it's got basketball court. It's got a huge swimming pool with a slide. I think it's like 12 bedrooms. So we can do some, same-sex matchups and do group rates for rooms, or maybe just feel like being king or queen for a day and you want to get a room all to yourself, or bring your significant other. That's fine too. The one thing I'm going to say, guys, about conference, and this is a big ask, it's a blind faith ask. In the past, it's been it's been structured a little more concretely because it was a hard event. We're going to a separate location. You have to buy a ticket. You got to get a flight. But one thing that will add tremendous firepower to your success here, if you are even thinking about building an agency here, if your near or long-term goal is building an agency, find 10 people or more to attend this with you. Have a watch party at your house. I promise you, it'll be worth it. And in fact, if you get 10 people to a watch party, hard confirmed, and you're staying home, you're not in Vegas, I'll buy your food. I'll get you Subway or pizza or whatever you want. Just remind me I said that, because it is so important for you to not be at conference alone. Okay. Conference is for you first and foremost, but don't be there alone. Be there with other Symmetry agents, or better yet, people that you think would like a life here at Symmetry with us. People, and you'd be surprised at the ones that would say yes. But really get out there, find out who in your network might be good to join this with you, this event, and invite them over. And I promise you, some of the carrier stuff might go over their heads. Fine, they can take a bathroom break if they like. That's when most of us do anyway. I mean, right? I'm not, I mean, it's true. But the carriers do have some great stuff. And if you do go to the bathroom during that, you miss some good giveaways. But the kind of leadership and mentorship that you're going to get and training, even if you're not part of the insurance industry, even if you were never going to sell a policy in your life, you're probably getting about $5,000 worth of convention value out of this. It is on par with a Tony Robbins, a Gary Vee, a Jim Rohn, and multiply that by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because when you have the Smith brothers doing tens of millions of dollars in their business, telling you what they went through and how they got through it and what they're doing now, when you've got Edward Pritchett, who is on average making $30,000 to $40,000 a day passively, living in Puerto Rico now for tax purposes, it can get pretty crazy, guys. And these are the ones that are telling us how it is. Okay, so be a part of that. I'm going to let you guys go. I think I'm going to ask you to do one more thing, but we're going to have some kind of topic each time we meet, but I hope you found value in this. I want to make sure that we're all associating. And before we go, I just want to open this up to any new people that want to be brave enough to ask a question or make a comment or be confused about something, and put yourself out there. Anybody? Okay, excellent feedback. Just kidding, guys. That means it was a great meeting. But I do want to say, guys, I know if you've been on the conference calls, congratulations. If you haven't, start getting on them. But what you may have missed was and we're not allowed to promote this on social media yet. So please, this stays within Symmetry for now. But every year they kind of one up themselves on a keynote speaker. Again, we had John Maxwell a couple of years ago. We've had some amazing people really pour into us at these conferences. And this year, they dished out a pretty penny, over 6 figures, and locked down Matthew McConaughey as our keynote speaker. I'm sure most of us know Matthew as an actor, but he's also getting really, really big in the self-development world and the personal development world. Podcasts. He just wrote a book. They recommend you don't buy the book yet because they'd love to see sales of the book come from us at Symmetry during the event. So I'm going to wait to purchase mine. Coincidentally, I have to say that Steve Devine's wife bought him this book out of nowhere. Had no idea he was going to be I thought that was crazy, but it's the way the universe works, and good for you, Steve. You're getting an advanced read on this thing. But guys, Matthew McConaughey is going to be our keynote speaker. And I've been asked to present 3 burning questions we may have for Matthew McConaughey, because they're going to do a fireside chat with him, Q&A. So feel free to text me or text your upline a question that you would like to ask Matthew McConaughey, and it may get chosen to be asked at the fireside chat Q&A. And remember, sure, you can be funny if you want to ask him about Wolf of Wall Street or something, but core focus is he really is becoming a personal development guru, very impactful in the space, and I would take advantage of that. And that's really all I have to say, guys. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on this today. We will be doing this at least once a month with our team only. And again, don't let yourself be overwhelmed by the conference calls and the this, the that, and the other. Just pick 3. And you know the 3 that I recommended earlier. I send all my new agents a list of conference calls, and I do expect that you will calendar those, please and thank you. And if no one has any questions, comments. All right.
I can't wait for the conference. That's all I can say.
I can't either, Jeff. Thank you. And I can't wait to share with you guys details about Vegas. Just plan on it, guys. Again, many of us have spent way more going to conference when we didn't have it. And I'll say it the way Casey said it to anyone that comes to him and says, I want to go to conference so bad, but I can't afford it. Those are the people that need it the most. Okay. So this year, you don't have to afford it. You just have to be intentional about being there. But what I'm going to ask you to do is think about making yourself a little uncomfortable, and how can you afford to get out to Vegas and celebrate with us? Because we will be associating in person. It is going to be a lot of fun. And I can tell you, there's just something about meeting in person that expedites and exponentially increases the impact that this will have on you. So please,
Hey,
I would love to see everybody there.
Hey, Mark, and then just, on the association, being in Vegas and being around the team, right? The real magic is, when I got to go to conference, I got to ask Mark what he was doing to be successful, right? I got to ask Sean Kim, which was the #1 producer in the company. And that's what led me to have a monster, right? 2019. This is something that, we didn't get a chance to do last year, but this year, if you take advantage of it, getting to Vegas is pretty inexpensive. But you get to hang out, right, with the Jeffrey Miller, right? That's writing, 40 plus applications in a month. DJ Robinson that qualified for all the bonuses that you can qualify for coming into Symmetry. Talking to Mark and asking him how he's doing this part-time, right? He's doing this part-time and is now an agency owner. These are the times, right? Because when conference is one thing, but then you get to spend the day to ask those questions intimately, right? That you wouldn't normally ask on a Zoom meeting, right? Or, you just get to, like I said, mental edification. That Mark's a real person, right? He's not really in Adventureland or at the Bahamas like yesterday. But he's somebody real that you can talk to, right? Jeffrey Miller, me, Dominic Austin. These are people that you get to ask real questions, have a real conversation with them, and it shows you how real Symmetry is. So the association by far is probably the most powerful thing.
I agree. I mean, you're going to get a ton out of Joe, you said it so well just now, because you're going to get a ton out of conference, guys, but being there in person and being with the best of the best is incomparable and will exponentially increase the effect of conference on you, because everybody here knows. I mean, I'm a big believer in law of attraction. Dominic and I have had some real serious conversations about that and shared books and readings and everything else. But the universal law is all about attraction and association, and you are who you hang around and you are what you associate with. And guys, I'm telling you, it's funny. Before I came here as a film TV producer, many times you're all the time you're looking for investors, right? And you can tend to even get into a space where you risk at coming off as a little needy, because you're always just looking for investors for projects, things like that. It's a big producing is a sales job at the end of the day, and storytelling and all that. But when it comes down to it, associating with, and again, it's not about the money, it's about the quality of people, because I'm gonna quote you, Dominic, from your email, because that was just beautiful. But in order to have what you want to have, you have to become who you need to be to receive that. You cannot have any of this stuff until you become the person who is worthy and willing and deserve to receive it. And secret, guys, a lot of the reason that you may not have received certain things in life, sure, you weren't ready, you weren't this, you weren't that. It's simply because you haven't grown to the level where you believe in yourself enough to say, I deserve this and I accept this. And that's a very powerful thing. And going to conference, the reason I brought up the film stuff is it's like, you could just scream from the mountaintop and you're not going to find investors unless you really hit the brick. Where at the same time, if I want to surround myself with the best of the best minds and people making 6-7 figures because they were broke living out of their car when they started this thing. I mean, I'll let you hear their stories, but we've got some top people here that were addicted to drugs, that were living in a trailer, their car, had to borrow money for their first set of leads and so on and so on. And they're now running multi-million-dollar agencies. Everyone here has that same level playing field. And the reason they succeeded was because they plugged in and they reached up. And conference is the #1 way to find yourself among several multimillionaires. And believe me, it does rub off. It rubs off, and it rubs off quickly as long as you associate regularly. So guys, again, I'm going to put you to task today. Post on GroupMe something, celebrate some. I'd love to post something that you achieved today and edifying someone else who achieved something today, or that helped you today, or that inspired you today. And second is, within minutes of this, I'm going to be posting it again in our Newbauer GroupMe, the conference link to register and the registration code. And I will take great offense if not each and every one of you goes there right now and signs up for conference and is intentional about putting that on your calendar. And you don't want to deeply offend me today, right? Just kidding. Guys, that's for you. It's all for you. So thank you so much, guys. It went a little longer than I expected, but that's par for the course for me. You'll get used to that, and I'll work on my brevity. And I wish you guys the best day, the best week. You're in the right place at the right time, and now you just have to apply yourself. So thank you, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.